Hello and welcome. I am the Syntax Sorcerer. I am going to be teaching you programming languages, something such as simple as C Sharp, C++. Maybe we'll get into some Visual Basic. Maybe we'll do some JavaScript. It all kind of depends on the future of this channel. So, again, I'm the Syntax Sorcerer. I have a bachelor's in computer science, and I've been working with computers since I could walk. So, C Sharp. What is C Sharp? Why are we using C Sharp? So C Sharp is robust, it's super easy, and it's a great program. Language. So C Sharp has been used since the early 2000s. It's an evolved form of the C language. I say evolved in quotations. We have such languages as C Sharp, Jesus, say that 10 times fast, and C++, two of my personal favorite languages. They're really easy again. They're used for all sorts of different applications, and especially on mobile devices. A lot of your favorite games are probably written in C Sharp and in Unity. So I'm going to try to teach you as we go with little to no editing so you can see my mistakes. You can kind of follow along as I make errors. And I'm not going to just like hand you the code and say, here you go, figure it out. Instead, we're going to write all the code out together, and we're going to work through it together. And as for the terminology, we're going to be learning that on the fly, because I think telling you what something is not going to stick. I think I explain it, and we do it over and over and over again, as I was taught, and then it's going to stick. So we're going to start with either Visual Studio Code, Visual Studios, or something like Sublime Text. So Visual Studio Code is kind of like a smaller version of Visual Studios. I personally prefer Visual Studios. It has debuggers and everything you need in it, and can be a little bit bigger or smaller depending on what you need. And I'll show you how to download Visual Studios and stuff in a second. So Visual Studio now, C Sharp uses top-level statements. So the main function isn't necessary anymore. It doesn't really exist, not in the way you think. And for those of you that are brand new to programming, don't worry. It's not that hard. You'll find out. You can just write code directly on top of the file, and it will act as though it's inside of the old main function. Super cool. All right, so now that we've got Visual Studio's launcher installer open, as you can see, the installer comes with a lot. This might seem really overwhelming, but it's not. All we're going to do is the Universal Windows Platform Development. Create applications for Universal Windows platforms with C Sharp, Visual Basic, or optionally C++. So once you're going to go ahead and click this, and you're going to do either install while downloading, or if, like me, if you have something else installed, you're just going to hit modify. And so once you're good to install that, we will start up Visual Studios next. But I have all this already installed, so I'm just going to pause and move forward. Take the time, pause the video if you need to. I'm going to teach you real quick how to open your own files. So you can go ahead and boot up Visual Studios, and let me go back to the booter so I can show you exactly how to do it. Okay, so now we've got what happens when I click on Visual Studios on my desktop. Sometimes it saves over in your files on your start menu. You're just going to have to drag and drop it. So what we're going to do from right here is, you can see I've already done a couple test runs on some different things. So we're going to, right here, we're just going to click Create New Project. And then it's going to ask us what we want to run. So right now we're going to run a console app. We're going to need Windows forms later and class libraries later, but these aren't important for right now. So you're going to scroll on here. You can see they're at the top for me because I've used them the most, but it's going to go down for a while. So just find console app, and you want C Sharp. If it helps, change it to C Sharp on the filter there, and click next. It's going to ask you, what do you want to name your project? So I've run a couple tests, so we're going to name this test 4. 4. And as you can see, I've got the location set up, so I have it go to a very specific spot. That way I can edit these later, these files for you guys, to make that easier. So we're going to hit create, and then create, next, and then create. Excuse me. Silly me. Tricks are for kids. So this is my first video ever, so you guys are going to have to forgive me, and I want to give you guys all the information as I'm teaching it. So give it 1 second here. All right, so when you boot up Visual Studios, it's going to be a blank canvas with just like one line on it. Maybe it's going to say something at the top. Don't worry about it. It's not important. You see how I've just kind of got these written out anywhere? They are not important. I could copy paste. Then I can just do like something like this. So right along with me here, we're going to do console dot write line, and you're going to write the same thing, parentheses. And then we're going to create, you see how it's telling us this is a string. Now we're going to create the value of the string. I'm going to say, hey there, hi there, oh there. I am the syntax. Ooh, my fingers aren't warmed up. All right. And then end every single line of code with a semicolon. This is important, and we will get into explaining the semicolons later. Basically, the semicolon just tells the computer, this right here is where it ends. Now, we are going to get into some more in-depth stuff that will take up like 5, 6 lines, and then maybe even 20 lines, maybe even 50 lines, and you're going to end up with a semicolon. But a semicolon tells the computer, stop right here. This is the end of this specific piece of code. So now, if you've been following along, I want you to hit this button right here, which means to run it and debug it. So we're going to run it, and if everything works well, you should see, hey there, hi there, ho there. I am the syntax sorcerer, or whatever else you may have put in there. Now we're going to hit close this window. Perfect, right? And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste what I previously took out. And don't worry about this. So this is the line I showed you earlier. Now we're going to go over write and write line. This is the first one we're going to go over. So write, this is going to display a string, and then after the argument, this right here, anything inside our parentheses like this, we're telling the computer this is our argument. Does not position the cursor at the beginning of the next line in the console window. And that might sound weird right now, but it'll make sense in just a second. So this one is going to say, I am the syntax sorcerer. Again, anything inside of these parentheses is an argument. So now we're going to run this. I'll give you a second to pause the video so that you can run it yourself or type these all out and run it yourself. I've already started writing everything, so we're going to have some fun, and we're going to write a couple more lines of code here. All right. Now I'm going to run this. So you're going to see, hello there, I am the syntax sorcerer. Now, what I want you to notice is I wrote these on 2 different lines, and there's a specific reason, but you can see that it does not change, right? They're on the same line on there. Why is that? We'll get to that in a second. I'm going to go ahead and delete these. Oh, undo that. If you ever have to undo something, Control-Z. All right, so now we're going to take this, bring it back into the foreground. All right, so we're going to do this, and then I'm going to show you console write line. And don't worry, we're going to write these all together. So write this out, console.write. Hey there, and I threw some extra spaces in just to make a point of where these things end. Don't forget your semicolon. Console.write line, parentheses, test 3, whatever you want to put in there, just do it just like this. You don't have to write what I write. We're going to hit Control-S to save, and then hit test 3. And now you're going to see, hey there, test 3. Perfect. Close. All right. We're going to comment these out real quick. And as you can see, when I do a comment like this, I do this double backslash. It's the right next to your shift key. That is going to comment something out. So when the computer sees that double backslash, and these are different in every programming language, but a lot of programming languages do use the double backslash. This just means, hey, ignore this next line on this specific line. So like you can see when I do double backslash, why doesn't that convert over to line 2? Because it only works on line 1. It only works on the line it's on, right? So now we're going to have some fun. So console. And you can see that it's already starting to try to fill in for me. And this is okay if you want to use these. I prefer that you type them out just to understand them. Write line. Oops. Parentheses. We go, okay, let's code some games. Don't know what I was typing there. Don't worry about it. And semicolon, end. And then you know what? We're gonna do another one. Console. We're gonna autofill this one in just because. If it autofills in, that's fine. And it's like, cool. I love to code games. And semicolon. That is the end of both of those sentences. So the computer's going to read this. It's going to go console. All right, you want me to open the console. Now you want me to write this line. What is the line? Okay, it's inside of these arguments. And so inside of these, it's telling the computer, these are strings. So inside of these strings is what it's going to print. It's going to print everything inside of the parentheses and the thingies, these things right here. You know what I'm talking about. All right. So now we're going to hit Control S. Ooh, not that. Control S to save. So that would be the same as going to File, and then why no save? Why no save? Save all. Control Shift S, Control S. You get what I'm saying. I say what you mean. Anyways, now we're going to run. So you see how this is different now? Okay, remember before when we did it right here, it printed it out all on the same line. So now we're gonna take these out of the comment, and we're gonna run it all together so you can see the difference now. Okay, so you see, hey there, test 3. Okay, let's code some games. So now you see what the difference is between the right and right line. One is going to just keep putting things right after the end of those strings, and the other is going to say, hey, on this line, write this. And then when we do another right line, on this line, do this. So that is the difference between right line and right. I hope that's very simple and straightforward. It is not very hard. So what I want you to do now is just have some fun. We're going to take a few minutes, and we're just going to write a couple things in. And you're going to say, well, geez, this isn't very necessary for anything. We're going to make some really fun programs through just the console window. So I'm going to have some fun. Console.writeLine. Oops, excuse me. And I'm going to say, hey there. I am the syntax sorcerer. And I should probably just put a comma, huh? And I am here to teach you how to code. Boom. And then we're going to say, that sounds pretty fun. Now we're going to have, we're just going to show a little bit different. So I tabbed through there. Again, you can tab through or not. I think you should write it a few times just to get used to it, so you know what the command actually is. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 1, 2, 3, blah, 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 just like that, because I want you to understand it is displaying these as a string of characters. You can see class system string. That's what it is displaying these as. And we will get into strings and integers and characters and all that stuff later. Bits, bytes. We've got tons of really cool stuff up ahead. We will get into all of that. So now we're just going to do Control S. So you see the little asterisk. You see whenever I change something, there's a little asterisk there. So when we hit Control S, asterisk gone. It means it's saved. So we're going to run it now. Oop, there were build errors. I accidentally deleted my semicolon. Look at that, being silly over here. Hey there, I am the syntax sorcerer. I'm here to teach you how to code. Feel like Bender from Futurama. 1001001. All right. And I think that about concludes the first video. This one was just mostly to get you set up and kind of show you real fast how to start coding. This is not we're gonna go into some more in-depth stuff in the future, but for now, I think this is a perfect way to end the first video, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this one. Again, I'm not going to try to edit these videos too much so that we have a lot of fun together, and you can see when I make errors, and you can see how I fix my errors, and you can make fun of me in the comments for screwing up. I mean, I'm out of practice, so give me a break, I guess. But I will see you guys in the next video.